Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with V. Hope you're all well. All right, so tonight we're going to focus on mobilizing the upper spine. So first of all, let's just have a think about the anatomy of the spine. If we take our attention to our tailbone, we've got a little triangular bone right at the base of the spine called the sacrum, and it's fused, it doesn't move. And then if we move up from the sacrum, we have the natural curve in the lower back, which is the lumbar spine. And then moving up from the lumbar spine, kind of in the chest area, at the back of the body, between your shoulder blades is your thoracic spine. And then we have the neck, an inward curve to the neck, the cervical spine. So we're going to be focusing on this area of the spine today, the thoracic spine. And that tends to be where a lot of us are restricted, or we have tightness there, stiffness there. And often where if there's stiffness in one area, then we compromise the bit below and the bit above, which is why we tend to have a lot of issues with necks and lower backs when we're thinking about the spine. And a lot of the stuff we do on a daily basis is involved in this kind of forward folding, you know, when we're on our computers, when we're looking at our phone, this kind of rounding of the shoulders. So today we want to try and sort of open that out so that we have a better posture, we're able to breathe more freely, and we can not compromise the lower back and the neck. All right, so the thoracic spine, the bit upper spine between the shoulder blades. And when we come into back bends, we need to be able to move into that thoracic spine. We need to extend it, and we need to create space between the vertebra in the thoracic spine. All right, so let's get going. Let's bring the hands into Chamudra. So we bring the thumb and the index finger together, and we turn the palms to face down. And then you can release into your hips. You can close your eyes or take the gaze down. And if you take your awareness to the base of your spine and visualize the triangular bone there, sacrum, and then slowly move your attention one vertebra at a time up from the sacrum to the lower back. And then again, moving up one vertebra at a time, pausing at the space between the shoulder blades, the thoracic spine, and really take your attention to that space between your shoulder blades. This is where we're going to be working today. You want to create space between the vertebra. You want to be able to open up the chest and the heart. And then we're going to move up through the vertebra, up through the back of the neck. Draw the chin back and lift from the base of your skull and out through the crown of your head. So we get this feeling of being drawn upwards through the crown of the head. Now maintain all that lovely length in your spine and start to relax everything around your spine. So we'll relax all the muscles of the face, the jaw, shoulders and the arms, the hips. And then move your attention away from your physical body for a moment and start to focus on your breathing. As you breathe in, mentally acknowledge, I am breathing in. And as you exhale, mentally acknowledge, I am breathing out. Relaxing into your breathing without changing it in any way. And we'll sit quietly for 5 or 10 breaths, keeping our attention purely on the breath. And now I want you to be mindful as you breathe in of feeling as if you're breathing from your tailbone slowly up through the spine, up through each vertebra to the crown of your head. And then as you relax into the exhale, the breath traveling from the crown of the head back down to the base of the spine. And throughout the class today, when we breathe in, I want you to be really mindful every time you breathe in of breathing from the tailbone and elongating the spine and creating space between each vertebra, but we're moving from the base of the spine up. And then exhaling and relaxing. So as you breathe in, get this sensation, this feeling of lifting, lengthening the spine, creating space between each vertebra. And whenever we breathe in, whatever posture we're doing, we want to create this extension, this elongating, this lengthening of our spines. When we move into back bends are an extension of this lengthening of the spine. We must breathe from the tailbone up through the spine to create the space before we back bend. Otherwise, we're going to be rubbing the vertebrae together. We need to create that room and that space there. Good. So let's open the eyes, everyone. Bring the hands down by the side of you. And we're going to inhale, take the right arm up. And then as we exhale, we're coming over to the side. So we're coming into a lateral, sideways extension of our spines. Inhale, back to the center. And exhale, bring that arm down. So as you inhale, visualize breathing from the tailbone up through the spine. So we create room. And then we exhale. Once we've created the room, we exhale into the sideways extension. And then we inhale, bring space back between the vertebra. And exhale, bringing the arm back down. Inhale, take the right arm up, breathing from the tailbone. Every time we breathe in now, visualize breathing from the tailbone up through the spine to create room. And then inhale, elongating, and exhale down. Inhale, left arm up, lift the ribs. Good. And then exhale, come over to the side. Inhale, center. And exhale down. Now take your hands behind. Now as you breathe in, breathe from the tailbone up through the spine. Get the elongation. And then we're going to move the arms back. And lift the heart towards your chin. And then we're going to exhale and bring the hands over to the right side of your waist and breathe there. So I want you to feel this opening across the left shoulder here. Both hands are now to the right side of your waist, or as close as you can get them. Keep relaxing into each breath. So we're just starting to open up the chest and the front of the shoulder, because to go into any kind of extension or back bend, we need to open up this area. Let's inhale, take the hands behind and feel like you're lifting your heart and drawing your shoulder blades towards one another and away from the ears. And then as you exhale, bring the hands around to the left side of your waist and feel the stretch at the front of your right shoulder and breathe. So pausing here, opening up the front of your right shoulder. So we're trying to counteract the effects of hunching in the back, which makes the shoulder blades wing out. So when we get mobility in the thoracic spine, it helps the shoulder blades sit correctly. Inhale, take the arms behind and open up the chest, lift the heart. And now we're going to exhale and bring the left arm over the top of the right and sink down and drop the chin to the chest. So now we're stretching across the shoulder blades. We're going to inhale and sit tall and swap the arms over. So right arm on top, hold on to the knees, and then exhale, pull your navel back and sink, tucking the chin in. And then we'll inhale and come up, and exhale, bring the hands down by the side of us. We're going to take the legs out in front into Dandasana. So the legs come out in front and we flex the feet. That means pull the toes towards you. So if I face this way, instead of pointing the toes, we draw the toes towards us here for a moment. Draw the kneecaps up towards your hips. Bring the wrists right next to your hip bones and sit nice and tall through your spine. If you find you're sinking here, your back will be rounding. If that's happening, just ease the hamstrings off by bending the knees. Sometimes if your hamstrings are tight, it forces your tailbone to tuck under and your back curves. So sometimes if you've got tight hamstrings, all right, you need to bend the knees. And then every time you breathe in, have this feeling of elongating up through the spine. The navel will draw back to the spine, the core will engage. And take your gaze to the tips of your big toes. As you breathe out, everything around the spine melts away. Be aware that you're not pushing through the arms and lifting your shoulders. Your elbows are bent. We're using the muscles in the torso, the core muscles and the muscles in the back. Let's take a couple more breaths here. Inhaling, elongating the spine. Exhaling everything around the spine, melting away. 2 more breaths. Inhale, elongating your spine. And exhale. So 1 more breath. Again, visualize the breath coming from the tailbone. Inhale, up through each vertebra. And exhale. Good. We're going to point the toes away and pull the kneecaps up. So these quads are nicely engaged. Lean back into the hands and bend your elbows. Now we're going to squeeze the elbows and the shoulder blades towards one another and lift the breastbone up towards the chin. So we're starting to mobilize in the upper spine here. All right, by using the muscles in your upper back to bring your elbows and your shoulder blades together. And then you need to physically lift your breastbone up. And then the chin either stays to the chest with the gaze to the tips of your big toes, or you can lift your hips and surrender your head all the way back with the jaw relaxed. So we've got a couple of options here. Chin in, looking at the toes, or surrender the head all the way back. Relax into your breathing. If you're feeling a bit tired, come back down here and just arch the back with the elbows squeezing. So in order to get the chest open, in order to come into a bit of a back bend, we've got to use the muscles in the upper back to draw the shoulders back. We open up the chest, and then when we open up the chest, notice how easy it is to breathe in and fill your lungs. So back bends are energizing. They bring lots of oxygen and prana energy into the body. And then we'll release. Flex the feet, bend the right knee. Just hug it into your chest and sit nice and tall. And then when you're ready, take the left arm across. Right hand behind, inhale, sit tall. As you exhale, turn your torso to the right. Now keep this left foot flexed rather than it pointing or flopping out to the side. Keep it flexed. And every time you breathe in, lift up. Every time you exhale, you might go a little deeper into your rotation. Keep relaxing into your breathing. Twists are very detoxing. They're good for mobilizing the spine. See how you feel in that twist. If it's feeling really comfortable, you can take your right arm across to the outside of the left leg. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, you can come back to where you were and then work into the pose with your breathing. Lengthening your spine on your inhale and rotating as you exhale. Keep relaxing into your breathing. And then we're going to inhale, come back round to the center, and let's swap the legs over. So we're going to take the right hand across, left hand behind, inhale, sit tall, and then exhale and turn your torso to the left. So hugging that left knee into your body, trying to breathe length into the spine, keeping that right foot nicely flexed. Relaxing into each inhale and each exhale. If it feels comfortable, you can take your right arm all the way over the left leg to increase the rotation. Relaxing into that breathing again. Inhaling and exhaling. 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Last breath. And then we'll slowly come back round to the centre. We're going to come into a posture, take the legs out in front, called fish pose. So this is a variation of fish pose. Right, you might want to watch it before you try it, okay? So watch it first and then I'll do it with you. We're going to come to our forearms and bring our hands close to us here, and we're going to point the toes away. Get your elbows in, keep your chin to your chest, and then feel like you're sending your breastbone up and you're drawing your shoulder blades together. So we really get this nice arch in the upper body. And then you can either gaze to your toes, or again, you can surrender the head back, relaxing the jaw. So when you're ready, hands by the side of you, you're on your forearms, get your elbows in, and then send the breastbone up and draw your shoulder blades together and really lift up underneath here in the thoracic spine between your shoulder blades. Chin in, looking at your toes, or surrender back, opening up the throat, opening up the heart center. If you're not comfortable with the head surrendering back, to keep gazing at your toes, relaxing into your breathing. Couple more breaths, inhaling and exhaling. One more breath, inhale and exhale, and then we're going to release. We're going to lie down and bring the knees in over the chest. Just do a few rocks side to side to release your back out. So we're going to come into a moving bridge. So if we bring our feet hip bone distance apart and have our heels directly underneath our knees, arms by the side of you with your palms facing up. Now take a moment just to walk your shoulder blades away from your ears. Spread the toes and root through the four corners of your feet. Let's take our attention to this area, the lower back and the belly, all right, and the pelvis, the lower part of the spine here. We're going to rock it forwards and back. So as you exhale, tilt towards you, and as you inhale, tilt away. So as you exhale, tilt towards you, and then inhale, tilt away. Keep it going. Exhale, tilt the pubic bone towards you, and then inhale away. And again, exhale, tilt towards you, and inhale away. So as you exhale, pull the navel back to the spine and tilt the pubic bone towards your breastbone, and then the natural curve comes back as you exhale. Inhale. So exhale as you tilt towards you, inhale, natural curve comes back. Exhale, tilt towards you, and inhale, natural curve. Now this time we exhale, tilt towards us and hold, and then on the inhale we lift the hips up to the sky, lift the breastbone up and come as high up onto the shoulders as we possibly can. And then as you exhale, you're going to roll back down, literally one vertebra at a time. Little pelvic tilt towards you, and then as you inhale from the tailbone, lift each vertebra up, lift up between the shoulder blades, upper arms face up, and then you exhale and you come back down. Make sure you're not rolling onto the outside edges of your feet. So as you inhale, push through the four corners of the feet and lift up, and exhale, come back down. Let's do 3 more of them, everyone. So let's inhale and come up, getting movement in that thoracic spine, and exhale, coming back down. 2 more times, everyone. So when you're ready, let's inhale and come up. And just know that every time you inhale, you're bringing all that oxygen and prana and energy into your body, and exhale down. Okay, one more time, everybody. So let's inhale, coming up. And exhale down. Good, well done. Let's bring both knees in over the chest and just do a few rocks side to side. So releasing into your back. Good, okay, let's roll over onto the right-hand side and come up into sitting. And we're going to do some cat-cow stretches. So we're going to come to our hands and knees. Now, remember when we do these cat-cow stretches, I want you to really focus on the movement between the shoulder blades, because what will happen is you'll get lots of movement in the neck and the lower back, but there probably won't be a lot of movement in the spine in this area. So let's focus on this area. So if we come to our hands and knees, Now, remember when you breathe, we're going to think about breathing in from the tailbone, all right? So as we exhale, tuck your tailbone under, push away from the earth and really lift up between your shoulder blades. And then when you inhale, breathe from the tailbone, you elongate your spine, so get the length from the spine. Then you send the heart forwards and the shoulders pull away from the ears. And then as you exhale, you tuck the tailbone under, you push away from the ground. You've got to push through the arms to get the lift between the shoulder blades. Now, when you inhale, you lengthen the spine. Now, don't compensate for a lack of movement in the upper spine by throwing your head back. All right? The neck is just an extension of your spine. All right? So whatever goes on in your thoracic spine, the neck follows. So if you manage to get lots of length and a bit of an extension in your thoracic spine, you'll get length and extension in the back of your neck. Exhale, push away from the floor, moving one vertebra at a time, nice and slow. So on the inhale, don't throw the head back. The neck is just following the movement of the spine. So we're literally moving one vertebra at a time from the base of the spine. Right, so as you go into your cat stretch, think about each single vertebra just moving, synchronized with the one below. And then exhaling. Let's do it one more time. Inhaling, elongating the spine, and then exhaling, lifting up between the shoulder blades. Good. All right, we're going to come into a posture called puppy pose. So we want the hips to remain directly above the knees. Walk the arms out in front and rest your forehead down. And open up the fronts of your shoulders and relax into the middle part of your back. So we want a feeling of the shoulder blades spreading and lengthen the spine. A nice open feeling to the fronts of your armpits there. Space at the sides of the waist, lengthen the pubic bone to the breastbone. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then we're going to walk our hands back and we're going to get ready for downward facing dog. So spread your fingers nice and wide. We want the crease of the wrist parallel with the front edge of your mat. Get your shoulders directly above your wrists. Now, at the moment, my knees are directly underneath my hips. For down dog, I need to move them slightly back from my hips. My feet hip bone distance apart, my toes tucking under. Now, notice how much of a bend I've got my knee. It's nearly at a right angle. So what I'm going to do today in the down dog is, because I'm looking to get length in the spine, get rid of any rounding in my shoulders, if you just watch a moment, I'm going to keep my knees deeply bent, push away from the ground and open up the back there. All right, so I'm not trying to straighten my legs. So this requires 2 things. It requires you to push through the arms. All right, requires you to pull your navel to your spine and engage your core. Stay high on the balls of the feet, bend the knees. When you're ready, exhale, bend the knees. So it's almost like you've got your chest actually on your thighs. And then what we're looking for is getting rid of any rounding in the upper back. So the arms and the back form a straight line rather than this situation. Okay, so arms in the back form a straight line. Sway your hips side to side and loosen up at the sides of your waist. Sway your hips side to side. Loosen up at the sides of your waist. So if you've got tight hamstrings, that can force your upper back to round in down dog. But at the moment, our knees are bent, so our hamstrings aren't affecting us. But now we're going to start to walk through the feet one at a time. And as you do that, you might notice that your upper back starts to round. So we don't have to straighten the legs in down dog. We can keep the knees bent. Some of you will be able to straighten the legs and keep the length in the spine. See how you feel. Keep pushing away from the floor, though. Relax your neck, everyone. Give me a couple more breaths. Nice, relaxed breathing. Try and let the shoulder blades spread. And then from downward facing dog, we'll inhale forwards into plank. Keeping the belly lifting up. Then we're going to drop to the knees, point the toes away. And we're going to bring the body weight forward, sucking the belly up, bend the elbows, drop to the floor. Good. Bring the arms in front for a moment. So we're lying on our front. We want the feet about hip bone distance apart. We want to press our hips into the mat. And then we're going to take the hands behind and link the fingers together. Now, as we breathe in, imagine you're breathing from your tailbone, elongate the spine, and then very gently lift and draw the arms back. Now, this is where you've got to be careful. What often happens here, if people don't lift up very far, they throw their head back like this, and it's not good for your neck. So your neck is just an extension of the shape of your spine. So as you breathe in, you try and lift and draw the shoulders away from the ears. Strong posture. Inhale, try and lift. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, lift. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears. One more breath, everyone. Inhale, lift. And then we'll exhale, release the hands and come back down. And then we'll pull up through the navel. And we'll rest in a posture called child's pose. So for child's pose, the knees are apart, toes are together, and then you let your upper body completely relax. You can have your arms behind. You can bring the arms in front. Let's relax into the shoulders now. Relax your upper body completely. Let's rest here for a couple of breaths. Good. Okay, let's come back into our down dog, everyone. So get the hands in position, get the feet in position. And we'll exhale into our downward facing dog briefly. And then we're going to inhale, take the right foot to the sky. And then we're going to exhale and step the right foot between the hands. If it doesn't step through, just kneel down and grab it and bring it forwards. So check your right knee sits directly above that ankle bone. What we don't want is the foot back here and the knee going forwards of the foot. Okay, so it doesn't matter how it gets there. You can grab it, you can wiggle the toes, and then come up through the chest and send the heart forward, shoulders away from the ears. Point the back toe away. If your back knee's uncomfortable, put a bit of padding underneath, okay? Good. Now we're going to bring the right fingertips to the inside of the right foot, but don't let the right knee drop out to the side. Keep it where it was. Take a breath in, everyone. And then as you exhale, turn the left shoulder up towards the sky and take the left arm up. Now, if you've got stiffness in the thoracic spine, you'll feel tension in your neck and your shoulders. So you can bring the arm lower down. You can bring the hand to the hip. Draw your shoulders away from your ears and open up the chest. Top arm can come up if it's comfortable. And then relax into your breathing. Inhaling length from the tailbone to the crown of your head. And then exhaling and opening up the chest. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. 2 more breaths. And then we'll bring the left hand back. And we'll exhale, tuck the back toe under, back into a downward facing dog. Lengthen the spine. Inhale the left foot to the sky. As you exhale, step the left foot between the hands. If it doesn't step through, just kneel down and bring it forwards. Check the alignment. So the front knee needs to sit above the ankle bone. Point the back toe away. Fingertips to the floor. Elongate the spine, shoulders away from the ears. All right, bring the left hand to the inside of the left foot. Inhale, lengthen your spine, shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, start to turn the right shoulder and the right arm comes up. Okay, you can look up to the top thumb if it's comfortable for your neck, or you can look forwards or look down. Keep the shoulders pulling away from the ears, opening up the chest. So we're getting that mobility again in the thoracic spine. Relaxing into your breathing, inhaling and exhaling. And again, inhale and exhale. 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Inhale. And then we bring the right hand down, left hand to the outside of the left foot, tuck the back toe under. Exhale back into downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, jump, step, or just walk to the front of the mat. Bring the feet together, bring your hands to your thighs and come halfway up and engage the core. So navel lifts, shoulders away from the ears, back of the neck long. Now exhale and fold and drop your head. Inhale, root through the feet. Take the arms up. And then exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Let your arms relax. So we're standing at the front of the mat. And we're standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. So we want to root through the four corners of the feet. We want to draw up through the kneecaps. Got the natural curve in the lumbar spine. We want to lift up and turn the up through the vertebra. Roll the shoulders back and down, palms face forwards. Draw the chin back and lift from the base of your skull and out through the crown of your head. Standing in Tadasana. Now, as you breathe in, feel like you're breathing up through the spine again. As you exhale, let everything around the spine relax. So when we raise the arms, as we breathe in, we elongate the spine, we lift the arms up. And if you manage to be able to take a little back bend in the thoracic upper spine, then you could potentially gaze up. And then we're going to exhale and bend the knees and fold, drop the head down. Then we're going to inhale from the tailbone and elongate the spine, shoulders away from the ears, engage your core. We're going to exhale into half plank position, pull the belly up, drop into chaturanga. Then we breathe in from the tailbone, elongate the spine and gently lift the chest, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. And then we're going to pull up through the navel and exhale back into downward facing dog, bending the knees to get the length in the spine, and then we'll straighten our legs. Now we're going to inhale, step the right foot between the hands and turn the left heel in. Pause there. Now just make sure that your right knee is above your ankle bone. So if it isn't, if it's back here, if it's like that, everyone, just drop your back knee down and wiggle it. Grab it, bring it forwards, okay? The back foot, you want the back foot flat to the floor, but you've got to get the left hip facing forward. So you're going to need to maybe bring your leg in, maybe take it out to the side, maybe turn the toes around. So your left hip, you don't want the hips like this, they want to be square. So the right hip pulls back, left hip forwards. Deep bend in the front knee. And then we're going to inhale and come up and place the hands to the hips. We're coming into a posture called Warrior One, everyone. So for Warrior One, we've got to square the hips off. Nice bend in the front knee, knee above ankle bone. So adjust your feet if you need to get the hips square. All right, get the bend in the front knee. And then think about your pelvis. We don't want the pelvis tilting forwards. All right, we don't want it tilting under. We want it neutral. So the tailbone is down. The navel is pulling to the spine. And at this point here, the spine is vertical. Okay? Now, as we breathe in, we breathe from the tailbone up through the spine. We raise the arms. And if we can, if we're mobile in the upper spine, the arms can move back. And then you could potentially take a gentle gaze up. The hands could be together. The hands can go wide with your elbows bent and down below your shoulders. It all depends on your thoracic spine. If you're tight in the upper back, you're probably going to be tight in your shoulders. All right? So you go into it slowly and pause where you feel comfortable. You want to open up your chest, melt into your hips. 2 more breaths. Inhaling and exhaling, melting into your hips. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's bring the hands either side of the front foot back into downward facing dog. And then inhale, step the left foot between the hands, turn the right heel in. Now adjust your feet. All right, so your hips can move side to side. Nice deep bend in the front knee. When you feel stable and you feel steady through your feet, inhale, come up, place the hands on your hips. And then you're going to have to adjust that back foot. So this hip here, this back hip can face forwards. If this toes turn out there, it's impossible to get my hip forwards. So I just need to move my foot round. If I can't get my heel down, it's probably too far back that way. It needs to come in this way a little. If I'm wobbly, it needs to move out to the sides. The base is wider. Okay, so have a little move around, nice deep bend in the front knee, and then check this area. Okay, navel back, tailbone down. So we're not pinching in the lower back. And then as we breathe in, we breathe from the tailbone up through each vertebra, and we extend. We lengthen the spine first. And then if we get lots of length in the spine, the arms may well be able to come back, and then we can melt into the hips as we breathe out. Inhaling, lifting up, and exhaling, melting into the hips. We can gaze up, we can have the arms wide. All right, warrior one. Opens the chest, strengthens the muscles in the back, mobilizes the thoracic upper spine. 2 more breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. And again, inhale and exhale. Bring the hands either side, the front foot, come into down dog. And then from down dog, we'll inhale, come to the front of the mat, bring the hands to the thighs, come halfway up and elongate your spine. Then exhale and fold, bow your head. Inhale, come all the way up, breathing from the tailbone, up through the spine, gaze up. Exhale, hands to the heart, and relax. Okay, so we've been doing quite a bit of back bending, opening up the chest. We're now going to stretch across the shoulder blades. So we're going to balance. So if we have our feet in Tadasana, root through the 4 corners. Inhale, take the arms up. And as you exhale, take the right arm underneath the left and either hug or bring the hands together. Elbows lift and move away from the chest. Now, if that creates too much tension up here in the neck and the jaw, go back to the hug. All right? Otherwise, we're here. Let's bend the knees. So we're sitting. Come onto tiptoes of the left foot. And then when you're ready, the left leg's going to come up and over. Maybe hooking the left foot behind the right calf, or crossing, or bringing the big toes to the floor. And then relax your gaze. This posture is called Garudasana, eagle pose. Relax your breathing. Two more breaths. And then we'll exhale and release. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, take the right arm underneath the left, hug. I think I've done it the wrong way around, so we'll breathe in again. This time it's the left arm underneath the right, that's it. Hands together, lift the elbows and move it away. Bend the knees. Come on to tiptoes of your right foot. And then when you're ready, the right leg goes up and over, hooking the foot behind, or bringing the toe to the floor. And then again, relax into your breathing. Keep the gaze soft. And then we'll exhale and release. Bring the feet back together. Come back to the front of your mat. Bring the hands back to your heart. As we breathe in, breathe from the tailbone, elongate up through the spine. Lift the arms, gaze up if it's comfortable. And then as you exhale, bend the knees and fold. Let the head go and bow. Inhale, hands to the thighs. Come halfway up. Engage your core. Exhale into half plank, which then drops into press up, chaturanga. Inhale from the tailbone up through the spine into cobra. Pull up through the navel. Exhale back into down dog, keeping the knees bent so that we get the length in the spine. And then from downward facing dog, we're going to bring ourselves into sitting. So we're going to bring the legs round. Good, well done. I'm going to show you another variation of the fish pose, a slightly stronger posture. We need to keep the core engaged for this one. Okay, so I'm going to show it to you and then I'll talk you into it. So if you're watching, watch the whole process first, all right, because there's an order of things. So remember, when it comes to any movement in the neck, before we do any kind of movement in the neck, we have to get the movement in the lower part of the spine first. It's like a chain. It has to move from the bottom up, all right? So if I show it to you, last time we did it with the hands by the side of us, didn't we? All right, this time the hands are going to be palms down and the hands are going to start underneath us here. Okay, so the starting position for this one is here with the legs up and the toes pointing and the feet together, almost like they're tied together at the ankles. And then what happens is the straight legs start to lower, and as they lower down, all right, as they go down, the upper body comes up until the feet are on the floor. Right, then what we've got to do, everyone, is bring the elbows in. Then we have to squeeze the shoulder blades together and lift the breastbone up. And at that point, your toes are still pointing away and your chin is in and you're looking at your toes. Then you've got the option of surrendering the head all the way back and lifting the feet if you want to. You don't have to lift the feet. Now, to lift the feet, you need to strengthen the core. All right. And then to come out, you bring the chin in and release down. So we'll have a go. If anything hurts, obviously don't do it. But let's bring the hands, palms down underneath your bottom. This is called fish pose, legs up. Okay, now point the toes to the sky. Engage your quads at the fronts of your thighs. Keep the legs straight and keep the legs strong. So as you lower the legs to the floor, let your upper body lift up off the floor and come up onto your forearms and look at your toes. Now you've got to bring the elbows in underneath you. Draw your shoulder blades together and lift your heart. All right, so looking at the toes. Now you make the decision as to whether you're happy to surrender the head back and whether you're happy to lift the legs. Relax into your breathing. Whatever you're choosing to do, relax into your breathing. Even if you just do a couple of breaths, everybody. And then slowly release out of it. Hug your knees in and do a couple of rocks side to side. Good, well done everyone. We're going to relax for a few minutes, so make sure you're warm, and then we'll come into our posture called Shavasana. So for Shavasana, we slide the legs along the floor and widen the legs. We roll the shoulders away from the ears, back of the neck long, and then we take the arms out to the side with the palms facing up. Okay, so I want you to stay lying in Shavasana. I'm going to come and sit up and talk you through the relaxation. If you stay lying in Shavasana for a moment. And take your attention as you're lying in Shavasana, take your awareness to the space between your shoulder blades. And relax into that space. Feel as if your shoulder blades are spreading. Relaxing across your chest, fronts of your shoulders, tops of your shoulders. Take that feeling of relaxation into your upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists and hands. Softening into your belly and your lower back. Around your tailbone, your pelvis and your hips, your thighs, your knees. Calves, shins, ankles, feet flopping out to the sides. Move your awareness back up to your throat and your neck, relaxing there. Relaxing into your scalp, across your forehead, cheeks and jaw. Now start to relax into your breathing. Every time you exhale, take a long exhale And as you let go of the breath, let go of all the tension from your body, but also let go of all the cares of the day. Let go of all thoughts of what's going to happen after the class, all thoughts of what went on before the class, and just stay present for the next 4 breaths, mentally saying to yourself, I'm breathing in and I am breathing out. Let go of the distractions. Okay, when you're ready, everyone, let's take a breath in. Stretch your arms out over your head. And then bring the knees in over your chest. Bring the forehead to your knees. Do a few rocks side to side. And then roll over onto the right-hand side and come up into sitting. So if you enjoyed the class today, same time next week, let your friends know. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And bring the hands to the heart, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Om Shanti. Well done. Thank you, everyone. Thanks very much.